My name is Susan McKeown and I'm working with Ger Kiley on guitar and Trevor Hutchinson on bass.
There was a well called Tabernet. They said it held the cure for the sight. Sometimes great changes you never would have wished for lead you to see things in a different light.
I performed a song called Holy Heart, and I wrote that based on what I learned about a woman who lived in Blackrock. And her name was Moya O'Connor when she was born, and she married Crompton Llewellyn Davies. So she eventually moved to England and moved back to Ireland after 1916 because she was really felt the rug pulled out under her by what happened in Ireland in 1916. And she moved back and ended up living in Ireland for the rest of her days.
And I knew one of the most courageous leaders ever. He was humble, larking, Irish through and through. We had nothing to give him of those riotous pleasures. As for what a great man he was, I don't think he ever knew.
But the story actually concerned a woman who lived there with her 5 daughters. And at the end of the garden was an old pond. And one of the workmen uncovered some mussel beds in the pond. So they brought up the mussels and feasted on them. But Moya was naughty, so she was only allowed to have 2 and she was sent to bed. But that was why she survived, because the rest of them all died, because the mussels were toxic. And her father was the Fenian James O'Connor. So when he remarried a few years later, it didn't really work out for her in the house, so she went to boarding school in England and her life was changed.
This much I know is good in this world that is imperfect and unkind, that the truth does prevail at last, and that we recognize it when we find.
But yeah, I've always been interested in the history of a place and knowing where I'm situated, particularly women's history. And so on this project, while I had free rein to talk to people and explore the books, I really got drawn to the voices of the women of this place, because that's what's hardest to unearth. So I was drawn to the lives of women in the 17 and 1800s, and it's very hard to find out about their lives. But to me, there's so much to be gained from amplifying those voices, the hidden voices. So I was drawn to what were the lives of the women in this place. That's really been the theme.
I believe in the holiness of the heart's affections, and though I threw off the old man of the sea of Rome, what the human mind can be, natural curiosity. Perhaps it was my Fenian blood that called me home.
This collaboration between Music Network and the Lexicon Library means for someone like me the freedom to make the work that we were born to do, which has just become increasingly challenging. So it was just a delicious experience to just get upstairs, do the work, put in the time and be able to dedicate that time to unearthing these stories and making this work that I believe is important, and that lots of people have been commenting on how interesting it has been for them to learn about the process. So it just, for me, working in this whole area, it's lovely to see a project like this that gives the artist the freedom to be who they are.